Hello, welcome to Sky Sweaty Record Review, episode 146. It's the only first listen new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after leaving the YMCA. Now, it's a little bit of a different episode. It's July 4th. I didn't go to the gym. It's closed. Instead, I went for a vigorous bike ride. And what I thought I would do is two things. One, I'm going to sort of announce the upcoming change for the next 3 weeks that's happening to this channel due to personal reasons, which I will get to at the end of the show. If you want to know more about the life of this sweaty French professor guy who you watch sometimes talk about music. And then the other is to do a best of the year so far. I wasn't going to do it, but then the Rolling Stone podcast did it. The Needle Drop guy did it. And I was like, oh yeah, the year's half over. So why not give something? And the thought is this, maybe this is the only episode of my show that you watch, or I don't know, or one of two. I wanted to give you an idea of I'm going to synthesize down my favorite records so far from the three genres that I focus on: electronic, rap, and pop and rock, right? And I will just tell you what's been the best so far. It's the best 3 rap albums, 2 electronic albums, and 4 rock and pop albums of the year so far. So let's go, sweaters. Oh, shout out to Boz H, who suggested that I call my fans sweaters, which I don't know why I didn't think of that. If I'm so smart, why was I calling you all sweatbands and sweatbands and sweatshirts? Sweaters works quite well. So my sweaters, here's the top 3 rap albums of the year. Sort of in particular order. Number 3, I'm going to go with Czarface meets Ghostface. That's a record which you can see my review of. You can see the reviews of all these in I don't know, I can't do the links, but you can just find them on my channel. This is sort of like the album that I would have liked even if I didn't do this project. Like if I just kind of never paid attention to new music, this would have somehow filtered in to my world, and I would have listened to it, and I would have loved it. It's awesome, funky, kind of 70s style beats, and Ghostface doing all this amazing inventive rhyming, and Inspectah Deck. And in a way, like right now, there's this Wu-Tang renaissance where the surviving members of Wu-Tang are like celebrating their first album, and it's just really sad. It's just a sad, I don't know. I mean, I love Wu-Tang, that's very clear every single sentence I say. But this kind of like looking back and celebrating, it just feels like there's more life to the Wu-Tang than this kind of event would lend itself to. And it feels too much like just, I don't know. So if you like the Wu-Tang, and instead of watching their performance of Cream at Glastonbury, that's my angry thing now. I don't really know why. My face looks really red. I guess it's because I just biked up the hill. Oh, it'll get less red as we go. That'll be part of watching the show. So if you don't want to just watch Wu-Tang performing Cream at Glastonbury, check out Czarface meets Ghostface. It's the unexpected beats. It's the grimy feel. It's the inventive rhyming, but newer. Like still going on, not neck rebound. Okay, number 2, I'm going to say is Dave Psychodrama. I reviewed this album. It's one of the best, most watched videos I did. I don't understand, because all the other half-year reviews all cite Igor by Tyler, the Creator, which is fine. It's okay. But what they say about that album is what the Dave album does perfectly. Just inventive production, personal and abstract and societal, all mixed together. Some of the best rhymes of the year are there. His song about blackness is just an amazingly well-written, astonishingly mature song, right? I mean, this guy is younger than Enter the 36 Chambers, right? This guy's younger than the Wu-Tang, and this album is just completely alive and relevant and filled with themes that are essential for right now. Now, he's from England, so we have sort of, a Bostonian and a Staten Islander on the first one, and then we have an Englander, and then we have someone from Arizona. Number 1 on my rap album so far is Injury Reserve. Kind of out of left field. I don't see them on anyone else's list, but they're excellent because they have, I guess what it is that, I'm not really entirely into backpack rapping and intellectual rapping and rapping for smart people. Although, Dave is an example of that. Nor am I just into listening to Migos and I Got Traps in the Trap. But this is a nice mixture of those things. A little bit of it is sort of flaunting, a little bit of it is kind of smart, a little bit of it is kind of nerdy. It's three guys, again, very young, making great music that is interesting in the way it's produced. The track Jailbreak the Tesla is, in my opinion, the single of the year. That's the track I've listened to most on Tidal. I listen to it with the kids all the time. I listen to it when I was biking up the hill to give me that energy. It's just that kind of fun, badass hip-hop song that I really appreciate. Now on to the top 2 electronic albums of the year. Both of them I purchased. One of them is by Eric Taxon, Victory Lap. Really appreciate this album. This is not one of his personal ones. This is all mixing together different like samples and mashing them together, which sounds like that's not that good. And you have to go to Bandcamp to find it. But the way that he does it, I can't explain it, but it's just so listenable. I listen to this album a lot. Maybe it's because he mixes things so well. I mean, the first track, how am I remembering what it's called? Is it Sorry I Ruined Music? I think the first track is called Sorry I Ruined Music. It's got like 7 different layers going all at once. And just listening to them and trying to pick them out and figure out how he mixes them together. He decontextualizes and then recontextualizes parts of music to make you reconsider what those pieces of music are. It's excellent. I really enjoy it. And the number 1 so far is, of course, the Who Else but the Mode Selector album. I'm still getting into this record. It's not quite like I have faith that I'm going to love this album even more than I already do. As I said in my review, they are just master craftsmen. They make electronic records the way the Beach Boys made rock records. Like, they're very careful, very precise. They're like Daft Punk in that way. And this record is excellent. Particularly that one track. What's that one that I like so much? There's that one track I really like. Oh, Who. That's another one of the singles of the year. All right, so there are the non-rock and pop albums. Now, I'd say the rock and pop albums are a little bit stronger. I've listened to them more. Maybe my life is more rock and pop now than is electronic or hip hop. So I'm going to start with number 4. And you might think this would be number 1, but I can't find it yet on vinyl. And I've been looking. And the thing is that with a lot of this stuff, like, I sort of have to have it to really listen to it and really appreciate it all the time. And that's Bill Callahan's Shepherd in a Sheepskin Vest. You can watch my reviews. I literally cried, by the way, in one of the episodes. No one commented on it. I guess I didn't draw attention to it. See if you can find it. That's an Easter egg. But an album that can make me cry on camera is pretty strong. Lyrically, it's one of the best records ever written. Just point. Why am I doing all these mouth sounds now? Anyways, just point final. One of the best written albums of all time in terms of its lyrics. I listened to it again last week. It's astounding. Musically, it's great. Again, much like Dave, it has this ability to be personal narrative that's universal and you relate to it while also feeling like it relates to everybody. It's a really wonderful album. And then the top 3 are all records I purchased, which if you've watched my show, you should know, okay? I know I'm a capitalist show, and that's fine. But if you like music, then you should buy music, Like, I buy every Eric Taxon album. I think I only pay $5. I mean, he's releasing like 12 albums this year. That's gonna be $60, dude. But, you don't have to buy the vinyl, $30, whatever it is. But really, if you spend money on anything, then you should be spending money on the music that you love, because that's how the artists get to keep on doing what they're doing. So, the top 3 albums of the year so far. And I think I would put these actually as my top 3 as well, regardless of genre. Number 3 is a record which I listened to because my friend Ted loved this band when I was in high school, and it is the Pedro the Lion album, Phoenix. It's it's one of these albums where every single track is great. Even more than the next two albums. Like, there's not a single bad track on the album. Again, lyrically, it has the ability to be about his specific life while relating to you. Oh, my hair is really sticking up. While relating to you, and how do I get that down? I just got a haircut yesterday because I'm getting married in 2 days. Well, actually, day after tomorrow. Is that 2 days? Anyways, Pedro the Lion, musically, it's solid. His vocals, if you can get used to them, are not, they can be annoying, but they're not, like, once you get used to it. He plays with themes of sort of growing up Christian and coming to terms with that, and life in the desert. It's a very adult album. It's a very mature album. It feels like it's done by somebody who's my age, who's trying to make good music and succeeding. So that makes it very different than my number 2 album, somebody who's very much not my age, but that's the Billie Eilish record. This is the only one that I think is on Rolling Stone, Needle Drop, and mine, because this record rules. I bought this for my daughter. I mainly listen to it because of my daughter. If you watch my video, you'll hear me say, I think my daughter might like this music. I then went and played it for her, and halfway through the second song, she goes, Dad, stop listening. I was like, why? You don't like it? Dad, stop listening. She asked me to stop listening because she liked it, and she didn't want it to become my thing. So I immediately stopped listening to Billie Eilish until about a month ago, and that's when she started letting me listen to it. We listened to it together. Again, you should watch my review of it. I love the spirit of this record. I believe it. I believe it's an honest work by a kind of dorky homeschooled kid and her older brother, and again, it's very charming. It has enough tracks that are extremely catchy, while also having tracks that are very clearly just her trying to express herself. You know, it's poppy, but it doesn't feel, at least yet, that every track is trying to be a single. Listening to it with my daughter, okay, that's why it's number 2, because I shared it with my daughter. Yeah, because she was telling me how when she listens to it on Tidal or on Spotify, on Tidal, she has Tidal too, and she has it on shuffle, she has to like run back, and every time a Billie Eilish song comes on, she has to play the next track because every track goes well together. And she's like, I'm so proud of myself for knowing which track comes next. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. That's a dying art. Like most kids these days won't know what track comes next. But like Bad Guy goes into Zanny, and you can never hear Bad Guy and have it not go into Zanny. And that's the sign of a good album, I think. A well-constructed album. And then the number 1 album of the year so far, in pop, in rock, just in general, and this actually goes very well into the reason that I will not be recording regular episodes for the next 3 weeks, for those of you that waited, you sweaters, is Andrew Bird's My Finest Work Yet. I had no idea when I made the video about this record how much I would come to love this record. I listen to it several times a week. My fiance, not coincidentally, my fiance listens to this album several times a week, and it's okay. So let me tell you why it's a great record. It's the only political record about the Trump era that I think is listenable and will be listenable in 10 years, because it's not overtly about the Trump era. It's about the people who are living in the Trump era and the way that the Trump era is affecting us. It's not about him, it's about us. Musically, he's got this amazing ability to play violin and whistle in a song and have it be good. The track Dawn the Struggle is right up there with Jailbreak the Tesla, with Yellow Bike, with Who, just as one of these amazing, these great songs that get stuck in my head and is added to my library of sort of desert island singles, just tracks I will listen to for the rest of my life. And obviously it's a great cover as well. So the personal bit, I'm done with my top list. The short version is this. For the next 3 weeks, I will be traveling, and I will be recording I'm going to be trying to do like single reviews. So I'm going to listen to like individual tracks and put up my thoughts of them on the channel. Those videos don't do very well, so you might not watch it. Maybe you just want to come back to me when I'm back later in July, when I'm back at the YMCA. But this record has a lot to do with my life, and in case you like the personal part of this channel, I will just tell you that the woman who loves this record, I'm getting married to her the day after tomorrow, and I've been with her a little bit longer than I've been doing this channel. And I think these things are in some ways connected, that like the life that comes from listening to new music and from maintaining new music is a feeling akin to the feeling of like really deep, wonderful love. And I know that's pretty pretentious, but I think it's true. And I think that's a lot of reasons that people get depressed and sad and old. I think it's because they close themselves off to love, but maybe also because they don't give themselves a chance to listen to this record. And I only heard this record because I forced myself to go to the gym and make these dumb videos. So sweaters, 282 of you that are out there right now, thank you for watching the show. Thank you for pushing me. Well, I push myself, but thank you for giving me some kind of weird ego validation when I do push myself. And I hope that you do the same. I hope that you go through the albums of this list and let them enrich your life. So I'm getting married in a day and a half. I'm going to have a clam bake. It's pretty fun. I am then going to go on our sort of family honeymoon with her and my kids. We're going to go to Serbia and Croatia and Sarajevo and Bulgaria, Romania. Woo! So hopefully there'll be some funny things there. I really love doing this show, so I'll miss it. But until then, enjoy the 10 or so albums that I gave you, and there's the camera.